if it's about qualification, women are amazingly qualified. And none of us, I know me personally, I wouldn't be on this line with you guys. It wouldn't be talking and doing the things that I'm doing in life if it were not for women at all.
Well, Gregory,
that's all.
Gregory, let me tell you, it's just my opinion from hosting these rooms, right? I think America had such a bad taste in their mouth after Hillary Clinton lost. I hope that blowback doesn't fall on Ms. Harris. By the way, why do we say Trump and not Ms. Harris? Why don't we show her the grace we show him?
Show him the grace! Show her the grace!
To me, she was horrible.
She did, but I'd also say, if you look at the Anglosphere, like, there is an issue with women getting elected. Like, in Australia, for example, there's been one female prime minister. In England, you had Thatcher, who was like Reagan-like in her dynamism. But then I think Liz Truss was, she wasn't elected, and she was in there for like a couple of 30 days or whatever. And then before her, there was one other woman that's slipping in my mind. I don't think Canada has that.
You bring up England. The most powerful, influential leaders they've ever had were the.
Hi DJ Pack, this is your handler and producer from the CIA. I just want to let you know we're releasing your Netflix film this upcoming week, so we're going to fly you out to Hollywood to be in the world premiere. We can't thank you enough for all your insanity, derangement, and absolute unmental health. You're totally whacked, but we love the pack, and we can't wait to send you your first royalty check. Congratulations, DJ Pack. Oh, you've been up all night doing coke and sucking dick? I understand. You're tired. No worries. We'll send you the check in the mail.
No, people don't talk about it. I do. I don't really give a shit. There's a misogynistic
Is the war in Ukraine based on misogyny?
Purple polka dots.
Polka dots. She's a big polka dot.
Yeah, she's actually more qualified than the ticket that's running now. Their combined experience, she's more qualified. And you spoke about England. Have served as presidents in Argentina, Brazil, Liberia, South Korea, the prime ministers in Canada, Denmark, Germany, the UK. So,
well, Miss Madison, let me ask you, why do you think that is in America more than any other country?
You already said it, Jay. And the thing about it is that we don't have any problem, and we haven't for the last, with the exception of 46 presidents voting for white men over and over again. Some that have done okay jobs, some that have done horrible jobs. None to me, really did a great job overall. And we have no problem with that. Every 4 years, it's the same thing.
Well, not only has a woman not been elected, Biden is only the second non-Protestant. Besides JFK and Biden, the two Catholics, everyone else has been a Protestant.
You know what? And I think the nature of women will be so much different in terms of that energy of people starving and, people suffering. I think women have a divine nature to the degree where, like with children, etc., they care more, they care different, they care more spiritual, they fair, etc. To me, I wouldn't say all, but the majority of the women that's been in my life, they just different when it comes to peace. They different when it comes to order. And I think the world would be better. I think even when it comes to Wall Street, when it comes to the wealth gap, when it comes to even these manufactured wars, I think the woman, but we do know that if if she's in office, is she gonna be like to me? Barack Obama didn't run anything. He was a manager and a great speaker, but are they managers? So I don't think we should fool ourselves and think that they calling the shots anyway.
Well, Gregory,
So
Gregory, let me
moving
just say
around
this.
themselves.
Gregory, let me just say this real quick. A lot of people like to bring up her prosecutorial record, right?
For prosecutorial misconduct?
Whatever the number is, 1,700, 1,800 men were incarcerated. That's a falsehood. She created a diversion program so they didn't have to go to state prison. So I think 95% of those people that were arrested and prosecuted went into the diversion program. They go to state prison. People don't talk about that. They just want to say they got arrested. Well, what were they doing to put themselves in that position?
Yeah, they got arrested up to 45, went to the state prison, and in the Back on Track program, it had such a successful rate that program is used all over the country now.
Yeah, I think.
Greg, nobody talks about what Miss Madison just dropped a gem.
A gem?
Talk about that. They'll talk about her prosecuting these people, but they won't talk about how they're going to adjudicate them.
Well, Jay, this is one of the things that when you asked what has taken place in the last few hours that we've been hosting, that has been a pattern. So we heard somebody, while you were on the stage, say that there were 2 million people who she had incarcerated. And one of the things that we talked about was, like the misinformation, censorship, how one of the reasons that I think it's been really smart for Kamala to not do interviews is because of all of, I don't know if you guys have seen the types of AI videos and clips and just the way they twist her words
so
and
fucking
campaign
whack.
against her. It's awful to me. And, I am for free speech, but I gotta tell you, this election really makes me wonder if we're having to face, like what Gavin Newsom told Elon, that if he continues to do that, he's ready to file a lawsuit against him. And the way that technology is being utilized, I mean, the Republicans are saying that the election was stolen because of tech. I honestly think that this is a horrible way to run a campaign, and making her see, like they did a campaign where, to somebody who's not really paying attention, it really could mess with the way that they are processing things and obtaining information and repeating the information. And it didn't matter tonight that we would pin articles, quote people, nothing. It's almost as if it just doesn't matter. And that's where we talk amongst ourselves sometimes and say, okay, well, we do have to, especially as the election gets closer, we can choose where it is that we spend our time literally campaigning, right? If this is going to be important for us. So I just wanted to share that piece of information.
Well, it's confirmation bias. I mean, people have to learn how to think for themselves, and they did that with the vaccine, right? They were looking up information left and right. But if it's something that they want to believe, they don't even take the time to do it.
And to your point, Madison, we've been reading, and you have to read. You can't repeat, I heard. You cannot hurt your way out of this life. I mean, you can, but you'll be misinformed, ill-informed, and disinformed. It's just not possible with something that's important. Whatever's important to you, you'll look for it. But if you're going to repeat what someone said, you have to consider the source.
Yeah, and then even some of the things you read as a source, that doesn't mean that, I mean, it carries impressions, it carries its own narrative, so it could be read. And there's just some stuff that is they book and they research. So I think for me, I deal with the reading part, thank God, but then I also deal with how I feel. And I go by that. And I mean, for me, I'm not a fan of hers, just based on what I've picked up, and then the people that's around her. So that have turned me off.
Well,
Let
me say this, Greg. Trump is so desperate that he used AI, speaking of the subject, to generate an AI picture of Taylor Swift endorsing him, but she hasn't. But he knows she carries a lot of sway. She's a public figure. She's an influencer. The Swifties, they're loyal to that woman, and she had to come out and disown that picture. Say, wait a second, I didn't endorse this dude. But let me say good morning to the librarian. What's up, librarian? How you doing, my friend?
What's up, bro? Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
You know, Taylor Swift has so much pull that any brand or anybody that she endorsed, that's one of the most powerful endorsements she can have in music at this moment. So I can see why somebody would want to fraudulent that endorsement.
Not just music and like culture. It's like she moves economies when she like travels around. Well, I agree with you though. But, I think there is a sense of there are ideologues now at this point. I'm not American, but obviously this election affects me profoundly as an Australian in ways, in a multitude of ways. But I think when I hear Americans speak, there's a certain percentage of people who are almost, just ideologues. They're either like super MAGA or super Democrat, and then there's people in the middle of that who are still willing to have like a nuanced, interesting discussion, But there are, I don't know what the percentage would be, but there are people who are just ride or die ideologues at this point.
Well, Vincent, let me just, yeah, Rachel.
So I was going to ask you. Well, we know that she has, I don't know, is it millennial vote or mainly, or is it the Gen Z? Well, can you think of a celebrity that you follow to vote? I mean, is their endorsement of someone, do you think you would vote because a celebrity endorsed the person?
Rachel, not myself, but that demographic between 18 and let's say 25, I believe that she could move the needle. She's that type of influencer.
Well, that's what I said. We understand that, but I'm saying as adults, do you think that adults would follow a celeb endorsement of someone?
They follow Trump. They follow Trump.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Rachel, most people, the electorate in America and elsewhere, most people aren't even willing to have this sort of a conversation or invest this much sort of time. So, if a lot of the electorate, that could move the needle. A few percentage points in a few states could change the election.
Yeah, I think people follow memes. They see a meme, they assume that it's correct, they don't research it, and they tell another person, or they share the meme. And before you know it, it's like vote for whoever you want to, but at least make sure that you have the correct information. It's such a travesty to have your feelings swayed without having the actual fact.
Well, I'll say this: if she was to endorse Miss Harris, and she did it in, let's say, Pennsylvania or Michigan or any of these other swing states, went on one of those stages, rest assured, Miss Harris is going to win that state. I wholeheartedly believe.
How many of them are over the age of 18?
And how many of them are registered to vote still?
We gotta look at that too,
Oh, trust me. If the public knew that she was going to hold a rally in Philly or Pittsburgh, one of these Pennsylvania states that are swing states, they would have people registering to vote before they vote.
I don't see. It's going to be a phenomenon to see. Just to witness young people do something different when it comes to this whole political game. Even though they have the Taylor Swifts and the different celebrities, just like when Oprah got up on the stage of Barack, the magical cat. For me, I don't. I don't see it. I think it turns. So I think it works. But then on the other hand, I think I said this before you got in the room. When you have too much of that on one side, I believe it's urging, it's sending another message to white people that even though she's married to a white man, but you believe me, that mindset in America is still prevalent, and I believe some of them, when it comes to at that date, that time, they're gonna. I think they're gonna vote their fears. I think they're gonna vote their fears.
Well, the
I
man's
don't think it's
also,
gonna be the debate.
he's also Jewish, so that's a big block of people too.
But
So
don't they say Jewish people own everything? So
Wait,
some people say that.
who's they, Money? Who said
Yeah,
that?
who says that?
so
Because I've been hearing, hold on, Money. I've been hearing for my whole life that Jews own the media. If that's the case, they're doing a horrible job with PR with this woman.
right? You know what's funny? When you control both sides, you never lose, right? So it doesn't, you know. It's like the people that are saying Jews own everything, which is not. They're not saying anything wrong, right? They're not. It's not like they're saying false, false claims, things like that.
It is false. No. It is false. Hey, Money, check this out. Your name is Money. Tell me one Jew that owns the top 10 major banks in the world. Tell me one Jew.
But I can tell you who started the banking that you know.
I'm talking about today.
Don't say the name. Don't say it.
You see?
No, it begins with an R because we don't even know those people. But anyway.
No. These. So check this out, right? You're gonna tell me that the news media is not owned by Jews?
He asked you about banking.
No, he's angling.
No, he
He's
asked you
angling.
about banking.
That's the only way he gonna listen. I can guarantee you, there's Jewish people in the banking world, heavily.
Wait, hold on. Time out. Flag on the play.
You're angling.
I'm not angling anything.
You want to play pickup? I want to play NBA back.
Okay, I'm gonna play NBA 2K right now.
That's not real bad.
Give me. All right, I got Jordan over LeBron. But give me the top 10 companies, entertainment companies in the world that are owned by Jews. Give me a list. Pin it in the chat.
Look at all the record labels. Look at all the record labels. All owned by Jews. Hands down. Guaranteed.
The top 10 are owned by Jews?
More like top 5. More like top 5.
Well, you know we're gonna look it up, but I do agree. I think he chose.
Look it up.
No. Wait a second. I think he chose the wrong industry. Because certainly entertainment is key. But he said banking.
But that's why he said banking. But you see, even banking was started.
I'll even say the news is not. I'm not deflecting. You're saying entertainment. I'm saying. No, because you're not paying. You're just gonna stand on your square. And I'm saying pin proof in the chat, and we'll have that discussion. But as far as entertainment concerned, by who? Just because you're saying it's proven?
No, we all know. Everybody in this room. Hold on a second. We're not arguing. Everybody in this room knows. Even Rachel knows that the entertainment. That's what she said. I picked the right industry, and so did you for your argument. But you're standing on your square. I gotta stand on mine.
Stand on yours.
Wouldn't that mean that they would vote for her? Would that not? For her husband to be the first gentleman? What are you saying?
Be the first gentleman.
Well, the vice president, her choice of vice president.
Her husband, I'm saying.
You don't care for a first man, what is it, first husband?
First gentleman, because I'm not certain.
It would be the first gentleman. Her husband now is the second gentleman.
Okay, second gentleman. Yeah, I'm saying for him to be first gentleman. And I'm not going to use that word the way that you use it. It sounds ugh.
Which one?
Yeah. Anyway.
The first gentleman?
No, not that one. The way you say that other word is kind of it gives me creeps. But the way you say it, I didn't say the word. Yeah, the way you say it. But I'm saying I just said that that's a big voting block, and I still have that contention. It is a huge voting block, and there's nothing wrong with it. Who was the person that was running? Someone else. You guys help me. Who else was in the race that was of that?
Oh, wasn't it Bill? What do you mean, like to be the first husband?
No, I think it was a presidential candidate.
Bernie
No, presidential candidate.
Bernie Sanders? You talking about Bernie Sanders?
I'm not sure. I thought there was another one, just.
He backed out. Wasn't it Ramaswamy? But he backed out.
No, I'll Google it. I'll Google it.
Bernie was Jewish, and they ousted him from not they as in what could be inferred as, but the Democratic Party ousted him.
Yeah, not because he was Jewish, but sure. I'm not sure.
I wasn't
They
inferred.
got Crooked Rum Emmanuel still running around.
I will repeat what I said. I said that that's a big voting block for her because of her husband. And that's all I said. And then you said something to the effect of, what did you say that was contradicting that money?
What did I say?
Did you mean? I don't know, but you sound like you were saying that that wasn't a big voting block for her.
The Jews?
There you go with the word.
No, I'm sorry. Well, that's their name. I can't call them anything else. What do you want me to call
But
them?
if you say the blacks, nobody says anything. I think that's what we gotta stop it. Nobody gets a pass. Jay is right, but honestly, we gotta stop that, because anytime somebody says something that blacks, it's never anti-black. It's never. That sensitivity sometimes is over the top.
It's like me saying the Mexicans. I said, the Dominicans. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna use the word God, man. I'm sorry.
I would.
Well, hold on, Vincent, hold on. Just like the black community, the Jewish community is not a monolith. So I just want to damn it.
Nobody's a monolith, are they? Like,
I was just gonna argue to that point. I would say, I don't know. I haven't really spent much time researching it, but given the fact that Kamala Harris will have to be way more restrained in dealing with the Gaza, Palestinian, and Israeli issue, Trump will give carte blanche to Netanyahu, so that might be a heavy incentivization for a lot of Jews to vote for Trump. I don't know.
Well, hold on. Most Jews are historically democratic, just like, I know this is going to be a polarized statement, most black people in America have been historically democratic.
No, I
Let me mention. Oh, Vincent, let me finish, please. Hold on. Don't answer my question. Funny, in the two communities, the black community and the Jewish community, even though I've been told there is no such thing as a black community, but let's just, for argument's sake, say there is a black community. In those two communities, where is there more division? What's your feeling?
Where is there more division?
Yeah, where is there more division?
Depends if we're talking about rich black, rich Jew, poor black. What we talking about?
I'm talking about the average American black, the average American Jew.
I mean, the average American, I have no, I don't see any. Now, the below average, right? When you talking about where they're struggling, just like every other community that's struggling, there's division, there's killing, there's robbing, everything. When you talk about my neighbors, they're chill. They're having barbecues, relaxing. On both sides. I got a little bit of everything in my neighborhood. But yeah, the most division that is publicized on TV, right? For manipulation, I'll say black.
That's because it's Jews on media.
Right, okay. Well, guess what's also owned by Jews? Music. And there's division. What's the biggest dividing genre of music known right now? Dividing genre of music, and who owns them?
Here we talking about rap. Well, I was thinking of
drill though, because I like rap. I like rap, right? Rap is like LL Cool J, Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Smooth, nice rhythm. We're talking about drill, this new shit. You can't dance to it, you can't talk to a girl, while listening to this. You're only thinking about killing and murder. That's the drill. But that's what's being pushed right now. And who pushes it? What company? Owned by?
I was thinking about Shakira.
Like,
That's what I was thinking of.
like what company is it?
You know, Rachel
Alright,
always
so
wondered
Empire.
about Shakira.
Yeah, Interscope, Empire. Those are the big ones right now. Not really Def Jam anymore, but definitely Interscope and Sony. Come on, like Sony on So that's what I would say. Like
Sony is a Japanese company.
but Sony has a record. I went to Sony Music in New York City. Trust me, they ain't Japanese up there, bro. I'm sorry.
Is there a demand for this music, this drill music?
Unfortunately, yeah, I would say yeah, but it's not my age.
Hold on a second, buddy. I want to ask Miss Madison a question because she's in media. She has been in media for a long time. Miss Madison, do you think that Jews dominate the media? They claim ownership?
I'm not even touching that one.
You don't want
But
to.
I will say this.
That's why you don't want to touch it, Jay. But I can tell you, I've been in the media. They have a lot of influence. Put it like that.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
So I would change my statement. And I'll say, let's not say own. Let's say, like, I would like to agree with Gregory. I'll say influence. I'm sorry. Can I change my wording?
Well, there are a lot of people from the Jewish community that are on the legal side of the business, especially, and also on the business side of the business. Let's face it. I think that's part of it, but it's, you know, in terms of entertainment, entertainment is also very diverse, you know. But I will say that, you know, the Black community is starting to become somewhat disenchanted with the Democratic Party, and understandably so, because there have not been specific incentives and specific things, and a lot of times when you look at the things that happened during the Civil Rights Movement, they benefited, you know, others, they benefited women. Civil rights benefited the LGBT community and a lot of other communities as well as us, but there are not specific programs or the lack thereof, just like there was a big Asian hate bill that happened very quickly in Congress. And then, like I said, it took, you know, decades almost for the anti-lynching bill to pass. So I think that there are a lot of young people too who don't necessarily want to just vote the same way that their parents did because they want to dissect things a little bit more. So you've got this perfect storm of all these things happening at once, and then you've got the disinformation, which is on purpose, and the misinformation, and just all the conjecture and everything that comes with where we are politically these days. So it's a lot swirling around.
Well, Miss Madison, I'm going to make a statement. I want to know if you agree with it or not. The Democrats have cultivated a welfare state in America, keep generations of families stuck in that system, as well as a school-to-prison pipeline. That's the Democrats.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Well, absolutely. I think he hit it right on the head.
He's right.
Go ahead, Miss Madison. Go ahead. I'll go ahead.
I don't agree that it was cultivated. I think what you may be referring to is the crime bill, but it's more than one thing that went along with that. With the crime bill, the Congressional Black Caucus also supported the crime bill because, let's face it, during the 80s there was crime in our community, but that crime also stemmed from the crack that we now know that the CIA and Iran-Contra put in our communities. That's one of those perpetual bombs that I was talking about earlier. So it's been both parties, not just the Democrats, but I think that, you know, there are some things that had unintended consequences in our community. And, you know, Jay, you know where I stand on all of this is the original sin that, you know, that America perpetrated, that things will never be right until it's taken care of in terms of our rightful inheritance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm just going to correlate a little bit with what she was saying. The crack was a generational situation where you basically touch every man, woman, and child as far as black community is concerned in some way.
So that means an uncle or aunt, mother or father was touched by the drug, and it was effective in the inheritance because the prior generation that came in the 50s and the 60s, grandmoms and grandpas, they were working class people who had houses, things like that. The crack kind of siphoned out those houses and inheritance from people. They fumbled the ball with that. And then you have Generation X, which is my generation, who kind of produced the millennial. And the millennial, instead of the crack and the drugs, they were effective in attaching the LGBT community to them. And they piggybacked the black community and used them as a minority system. And they were effective in affecting the minds of young blacks in America. And so now you see a uptick in homosexuality amongst black men, also suicide amongst black men, because once you cross certain lines, it affects you mentally. And I think what they've done is effectively get to our youth that way. So now we turn it back political. So we have real murky and dirty water. Either I have the choice of a racist in Trump, which we know is racist, or I have the choice of the LGBT, which is polluting the community on Kamala's side. So it's really murky and dirty water here in the U.S. I'll land with that.
You know, it's interesting that that's a deep perspective too. In the 80s, there was three things. There was gangster rap, it was crack cocaine, and it was AIDS. And when you think about Madison is right in this instance, right in a lot of instances. You know, when you think, I think that what the brother was saying earlier, the peddling, and so there's songs, there's music, there's things that if it really insults and they feel like it's hurting a particular community, then they will take that off the shelf. They would take that and remove it. But when it comes to the negative stuff that affects our community, you say we should tell our children not to listen to it. No, don't play that garbage. But then it comes free speech is when they can say anything they want to say when it comes to that crap. But then certain communities, if it's something in there that they feel is anti-something, then ask Michael Jackson, then that record, you're going to think you're going to have to change the lyrics, or you're going to have to take that record and break it up. And that's the inconsistency, the contradictions, and the hypocrisy on both sides. And I would say the Democrats, and I call them Democrats and I call the other Republicans, 6 in one hand and a half a dozen in the other. Matt Dillon or Bob Dillon, diplomat or Republic, Fox or Wolf, Lucifer or Satan. But at the end of the day, they play us, and to the degree where, look at education, so-called education, look at this whole thing they push back on called critical race theory. And Madison is right, you got to go back to the origin, that's sin. And when you come forward with it, we have not fixed that. And having symbolic gestures is a slap in our face. That's why I did not support Barack Obama, because I knew what they were doing with him. I know he was selected before he was elected. I know the cat here in Chicago. Nobody never heard of him, never bust a grape in Chicago. He called himself a community organizer. He never organized nothing in Chicago. Went out to Argyle Gardens, and it was totally unsuccessful. Ran against Bobby Rush, Bobby B. I'm just telling you, down in Springfield, doing this thing, never nothing. But they throw these things at us, but behind the scenes, even Barack and even Kamal, we ain't gonna talk about reparations. I'm the president for everybody. So, are we going to get justice? Are we going to get
Are we gonna get our free motherfucking check? Is what I wanna know. Where's my money, motherfucker? Where's my money? Where's my justice?
What's the point?
Where's my reparations?
Let me just say this. It might be a polarizing statement. So I'm going to start it with I believe reparations should be made. I believe that. If they, our government listens
How
to
much, Jay? $1 million a man?
they'll know who is the
What about my reparations, Jay?
The records are there. But in reality, and I don't think it's ever going to happen. And that bothers me. But then what am I going to do about it? Right?
Nothing. You're gonna run your fucking mouth and pimp your hoes, bitch.
But the reality of the situation is, I don't believe it's ever. I mean, they started it in Illinois. They gave $25,000 grants to people. That's not enough. We can't, at least in my opinion, in America, we can't want to embrace a certain community without respecting the history of that community. Until then, we're hypocrites.
Hypocrites.
I mean, there was a bill, I can't remember what it's called, to investigate the possibility of reparations, to just study the issue, and it got voted down. And maybe if Democrats are in power, it will be brought back. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with investigating the problem for fuck's sake.
Well, Emily, in New York and in California, they had commissions. And both these commissions recommended reparations. But when they totaled up the bill and how much it was going to cost, the government was like, yeah, we don't want to be part of that.
Well, you know what, Jay? Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, AIG, Barclays. I can go on and on with the number of companies that were built on the foundation of slavery. You can literally trace the money back. Fortune 500 companies that were slave owners that turned into our current banking system today. Don't think that the money is not there.
Oh, I know the money's there.
My money's there. It's my money, bitch. It ain't your fucking money. That money was built off of my great granddaddy's dead slave body. I want my motherfucking money, bitch.
And so there's plenty of land.
Well, Jamal,
it's not worth anything.
Let me ask you a question. Jamal, let me ask you a question. If the United States government said to you, the black community, we're going to give you
40 acres.
Well, hold on, let me finish. With that land, hold on a second. We're going to give you the land. No, I wasn't talking to you.
Don't mute up. No need to mute up.
The land's going to be in South Dakota. Would you take it?
If the land's in South Dakota, that's where the community, the black community would be. And that would be the best place in the country once we all move there and get it popping.
It'll be a separate country.
Where we go is where the flavor's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but the reality of it is it needs to be in the southeast corner where we're at. Mississippi, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and Florida. You know, we need that swath of land. I know they don't want to give that, but that's where we're at. That's where we're stationed at. Yeah, unless you want to.
Somebody said that slavery was legal. It was legal, but just like you inherit, from your ancestors, and you are.
You inherited their name.
Yeah.
I'm Jamal Hunter.
In Sherman Field or the Twix, that was a part of that which was legal as well. And so if your fifth great grandparent owned something that's property, and
now it's belonging to some white family, you're gonna get it back because that family got it from racism and slavery.
Well, Max,
why does it have to be in those geographic locations? Why can't we manifest destiny? Why does it have to be in Georgia, Florida, Alabama? Why can't it be in Montana, Wyoming, wherever else there's plenty of land?
Well, I mean, the reality of it is, landlocked land is not as valuable as coastal region, where we can have we can own some ports.
Montana and Florida.
We're gonna own some ports. Hey, everybody, you black? You wanna own a port? It's all yours. Congratulations. You got your reparations. Does that mean you're gonna feel complete now? You can stop complaining?
Throughout the country.
I mean, that's more reasonable, but the thing is, so with land though, like not all land is gonna be useful, because if you're too far outside the city center, like you're not gonna be able to use that land. You're not gonna be able to have a job.
Yeah, but you know what, Emily, let me just say this. The black community, if you give, and I'm just using the state, if you give the state of Montana, believe me, they're gonna build cities, they're gonna build communities, they're gonna rise up, I have no doubt about that. But here's the question I really have to Madison, Rachel, Jamal, Gregory, who I've had this conversation with before, Akima. What does reparations look like to you that would make the black community whole?
You know, for me, it would, it's all, well, first of all, and Madison and I'm sure and Rachel and Jamal, look, we got to repair. And you say repair, because now we think of repair. And what does that look like to me is fertile land that we can produce food, land that we can create jobs, land that we can build on, land we need money, we need to be able to do trade and commerce. Reparations mean for us to be able to control certain industries, our own, having enough to where we can compete, so that when you go to Walmart or you go to Costco or you go to these stores and you know, Amazon, you look at all of the corporations, because America's a corporation, let's be honest. America's a corporation, and we want a piece of the action. And we want enough of the action to where you're going to get on my airline, our own Spirit, our own Southwest, our own one that can compete with them. And that's reparation is being in position to where I'm the credit union, I'm the bank. I ain't got to worry about going over to Chase or Wells Fargo. That's reparation, is being able to have that millions or trillions of dollars to where now I can do business with other foreign nations. I can do business with Ghana. I can do business with whatever, South America. That's reparation, is being able not to have the same people controlling the wealth, the 1 or 2% of the people that control the wealth. We have a piece of it. Now we making the clothes. Now we doing this. You know, we've been exploited as a community. And I mean, some of that is our fault. You know, Jay, when you look at the nail shops, who owns Dunkin' Donuts, now they even making chicken and fish. You know, the Arabs, they own all of the gas stations. I mean, my God, nothing to get everything in our community we don't own, and that is a crime.
Well, the land answers a lot of it, because the reality of it is this.
There are black banks and credit unions. No one is stopping from doing business. You want to steal taxpayer money for slavery that no one alive today was involved in. All lies.
And so just hold up to the agreement. And you don't have to do more. And in my case, and you could throw in a John Deere if you want. It doesn't matter. But the 40 acres is what was agreed. And then as far as that's concerned, if folks want to sell their acreage off, or do whatever they want to do to materialize it into U.S. capital, that's their choice. If you want to use some of that and parlay that into business of your choice, that's your choice. If you just want to keep the land, that would be your choice. But they need to honor what the agreement was. The agreement was 40 acres. Break off the 40 acres. Now, where should that be located? Should it be in one state or another state? Well, if you have a voucher to purchase 40 acres, I should be able to purchase it wherever I'm at, in my home state, wherever I'm at. I should be able to purchase. If I can find it on the market, I should be able to use my voucher and purchase the land. If that's divided into 4 or 5 different sectors of the country, as long as it adds up to the 40 acres, that's reparations. Period.
This is an issue now, thinking as I'm listening, trying to learn. I can't help but think how America treated the American Indians, right? They gave them land, but it was land that couldn't be cultivated. It was land that couldn't be, there was no agriculture on these land. And I think what was being asked for is reasonable, but how do we get to other people, the people that are against it, to actually listen?
When Jay, apologies, Jay, to answer your question, for me, I honestly don't know the answer to your question. I don't know what would suffice for reparations.
What I have a problem with the land is, I mean, sure, I just don't know if that would be setting anybody up for failure. And why I say that is because depending on the land, most land just by itself, depending on where it is, even if it's on coastal, especially coastal, because you have to have insurance, you're going to be taxed, all these things. I don't know if that would be I don't know what it would be good reparations or anything, but I'm just thinking land, keep in mind that if that's your collateral to, like, say that because you're going to be taxed, and then you're going, even if you do build, you have to have the money to have.
You're saying you want to secede, and then you want free land to be like Native Indians. If free land is given to blacks, they will just sell it. Taxes too high.
And I mean, like, you know, if this is not the case, if you get money to do all of this, then I think it's a great idea. So I'm just saying that to think about all the other things, the ins and outs, to get money, to get those licensures, and to build, you're going to have to go to a bank to get a loan, and to put down collateral to get that loan, it would have to be the land, and I'm not sure if the bank will give that money to with the land as collateral. I don't know. I've never done that before or anything. So if people who know have done that, like, you know, people create.
Better yet, if your great-great-great-granddaddy was a slave on plantation, you no longer have to work. You can retire. Lies, scammers,
You have to have some kind of
fools.
good credit. Things like.
Suck fucking morons, I believe. Jesus Christ.
Bad shot.
Oh man, yo, New Yorkers are hilarious. What part of New York are you from?
Yeah, it's the type of that wants that my wife wants me to empty the dishwasher. That's sort of far I'm in New York from. Because
Okay, this is called Delusions of Grandeur. Thank you for coming. I knew you were going to come. I'm so glad you came.
Hold on a second. We're talking about the federal government saying, okay, here's money to go buy land in whatever state you want. The state property taxes is what you're gonna have to pay, so like if you're not paying. No, you're not gonna be absolved, it's matched by the state. So the federal government is gonna have to pay your state property taxes if that's what you want, if that's the way you want.
Thanks for the reparations, federal government. Thanks for paying the taxes, and there it is.
So you expect the federal government to pay your taxes?
Absolutely.
Let me answer this question. Everybody's
In perpetuity.
Absolutely.
No, that's not reasonable. Hold on, Tom. Let me just say this.
Yeah.
What if the government said no taxes for 20 years as part of the reparations, as well as, let's say, 3 generations of free college at any college in America?
We don't want college. Nobody wants to
Hold on a second. Jamal, hold on a second. Everybody, hold on. I want to say good morning to Mr. Harrison. Mr. Harrison, thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Harrison, are you there?
And we want it now.
So you want to chime in, sir?
All fools.
I'm listening.
I'm a white man from America. Grandparents came to El Salvador when I was hungry. And now I need to pay black people for British enslavement. Delusional, low IQ people. We want free shit and we want it now. All
And let me be
fools.
very clear, I'm not saying that reparations shouldn't be done. I just think that there needs to be a lot of thought behind what they need to be, so that you're not set up for failure. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Tone, what do you think about the conversation?
I mean, look, I'm originally from the U.S. I don't live in the U.S. anymore. I think I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm against reparations or I'm for reparations. You know, it is what it is. But what I will say is this: I've never been a person to, number one, settle or expect handouts. That's just me personally. Regardless of my background or where I come from, or I come from extremely humble beginnings, and I was able to provide myself the life that I want and be able to take care of my family the way I want. Now, I'm going to use this as an example. Where I currently live, if you are a local born citizen here, you are given certain perks. With those perks are provided medical, you're provided land, you're provided an interest-free loan, you don't pay for your wedding, you don't pay for your funeral, and any university in the world that you or your children get accepted to are going to be taken care of without hesitation. Now, why are they able to do that? Because in this country, less than 15% of the people that live here actually have the passport of the citizens here. It is a very small community of them. So their government is able to take care of them in this way. Another reason why this country is where it is because you cannot come here and just do business if you're not a local born citizen.
Tone, what country is that? Are you an Emirati?
It's the UAE,
And you're an
United
Emirati?
Arab Emirates. Yes.
Nice.
So in the UAE, if you want to do business here, you have to have a local involved at some degree. For example, when Rolex came here and they opened up a store, the royal family gave that to a family, the Al Khouris. So Rolex said, okay, we're going to open up a store. The founder of the UAE said, okay, this family will be given this business. When Mercedes came, same thing, and so on and so forth. So when we're talking about a country like America, where everyone and anyone can have a passport, and you have a population as big as the US, something like this will never, ever, ever, ever in a million years work. That's the reason why we don't have healthcare in America. That is the reason why you have to take out insane loans to get an education. This is the reason why America is where it is currently right now. Because instead of taking care of our own people, we like sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, to Israel. We love to police the world. We love to not mind our own business. Therefore, we have issues in our own country, and we're not taken care of the way we're supposed to be taken care of, like in a country that I'm currently living in, where these people don't have to worry, because this country isn't concerned about what's outside of the country. So I understand reparations, I get it, I know, again, I'm not, I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. Most of my friends were black. I understand the concept of reparations, but I think, number one, it'll never happen. Number two, it just can't work. It won't work. It's like I think it was Jay that mentioned the Indians. Like, the Indians weren't given, in a sense, reparation. What they were given was the land, and then in certain areas, you have them where, for example, in Florida, the Indians own all the casinos. They own every area in Florida where you can have casinos. So this is where the Indians get their money from. Every month.
Indigenous people.
I'm sorry, yeah, the indigenous. And then they are given an allowance every month. That's why when...
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Jump in here real quick, 2 seconds.
Yeah, bro.
Reparations won't work, in my opinion, because you're not going to get an entire community to agree on what reparations could be. That's why I asked the question earlier. What does reparations look like? Because, and I'm just going to use some people as an example. As an example, don't punch me. Jamal wants land where, let's say, Rachel wants $1 million. So she's use an example. If you can't get the whole community on board, how can you actually give out reparations?
Yeah,
how do you
absolutely. And then, like, you brought up college, you brought up universities, the boss says, no, but we don't want that. So it's kind of like, you know, there'll never be an agreement, and I just think financially, it's just not possible at this point. This is why I'm getting at. I think things in the U.S. got out of control. And like, look, man, I don't take for granted being American. I love the fact that I was born and raised there. But if you ask me now, at this present moment, I've been living here in the UAE for 4 years. I have no intentions of ever going back over there. I literally went, the last time I went there, 4 days, I called the office to book my flight back. The U.S. is in shambles right now, bro. And like, it's sad to see. I don't think the U.S. at this point is the land of opportunity. I think it used to be. I think, and again, I know I'm probably younger than some of you. I'm 36 years old. But I'll tell you, the U.S. is not what it used to be. This whole, the greatest country in the world, I beg to differ, to be honest with you. Because there's so many places on this planet where you can live a genuine quality life for a fraction of the price. A fraction of the price.
And I agree with you, Tom, because I've been visiting Qatar. I've never felt the peace other than Lake Havasu. I've never felt the peace that I feel in Qatar.
Rachel, the peace on this side of the world
is amazing.
Undescribable. I literally can leave on vacation for 2 weeks and my
Quick
house
glance to King George, you liars. Should Trump a Republican, 500,000 men killed each other to progress liberty and end slavery forever.
The first year I moved here, so I live here because the closest person I have to a brother is from here, and his father's like a father figure to me. And when I moved here, within the first week in the community, I just noticed a bunch of little kids running around, like, not a parent in sight, not an adult in sight. I go to my brother and I tell him, I'm like, bro, like, there's no, like, where are these kids' parents? They're like, what do you think this is, bro? America? You think kids are getting kidnapped out here? You think we have child molesters and rapists out here? That doesn't exist out here. It's a different.
No, I feel speakers of laws as well. But I'll definitely say, listen, I love the energy and I agree with you. What makes America great? Our military, big deal. Big deal. We have political division as much like we haven't had since the 60s. And we can't have a conversation of reparations when we don't know what that looks like. Well, let me jump to I think Mr. Harrison wanted to jump in. I want to get Brent back to have the conversation. Mr. Harrison, did you want to say something? All right, I'll circle back. Dr. Adams, what's up, Adams? Adams, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just waking up this morning and put some clothes on and get ready to go to work. But, I'm going to respectfully say I've never heard so much bullshit in my whole entire life. You're going to sit here and compare UIE over to Ladera Ranch, California. I suggest that the next time this man is in the United States, he should go to Ladera Ranch in Mission Viejo, California, right? Because there are plenty of people where they don't settle their neighbor disputes by launching rockets, right? They call the neighborhood association. Their kids are able to play outside. in gated communities and, you know, non-gated communities. So I encourage this man to do a little bit more, you know, digging through ecosystems and neighborhoods in America before he just renders America a lost cause. And the other thing I'd like to say too is, if he hates America so badly, if he couldn't stand to be here but for 4 days, he should give up his citizenship.
I would do it in a heartbeat. And for the record,
Keep complaining and crying.
I had 60 acres in California. So the people I was home, I know California very well. And if I could give up my citizenship, my U.S. citizenship for an Emirati passport, I would do it in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. Enjoy your taxes in California. Enjoy giving your hard-earned money to something that doesn't concern you. Enjoy that. I was on 60 acres in California.
Keep complaining and crying, trying to get free money from your fellow citizens. Liars, scammers, fraudsters, fools.
Don't even get me started. And I first of all, just because you didn't join the Taliban don't mean that you get to know the talk, motherfuckers, okay? I was in the middle of speaking and you cut me off. I don't give a fuck.
Could you not yell? We can understand you about yelling.
Can you not cut me off? Who the fuck are you?
Bitch!
Yeah, sorry.
Adam,
You
chill,
lost
Adam.
I can tell you in the last 2 years with my American passport, I've damn near. You lived in the hood. You lived in the hood. That's why your kids couldn't play outside. You lived in the hood. But I lived in the hood. You lived in the hood. People who live in nice neighborhoods in America, their kids can play outside.
Whoa. Everybody mute up. Tone, hold on a second. Adam, bro, I don't mind the energy, but you gotta bring down the volume.
Okay, well then tell him to shut up and stop cutting people off.
But why?
Okay, but why am I in the middle of talking and he's running his fellatio?
Okay, hold on a second. Adam, I'm gonna let you land your plane, but why are we disparaging this man's lived experience? I'm just curious.
Okay, well why is he trying to hijack my plane before I landed? You came in here with a weird tone. You came in here with a weird energy, and I'm not with that. And you came up in here with some alhamdulillah, I hate America shit. So yeah, I'm a gangbang with you. Absolutely. I hate America. Give up your citizenship. Stay over there, and don't come back. Stay over here. Okay. Good. Stay over there and cry over America, right? I will. My chef is bringing me food in 30 minutes. I will chill here. Beyond.
All right, let's move on.
I got a driver downstairs. Ain't nobody give a fuck about your fake camel pretentious life.
All right. Like I said, we're gonna move on. I want to say good morning. Hold on, Kristen. Hold on a second. Let me say good morning to Brent. Let me say good morning to Brent real quick. What's up, Brent?
Hey, how are you? So it's interesting listening to that conversation. I guess you would call it a conversation. To say that the UAE only cares about itself, I think does not understand UAE foreign policy. I mean, there's a huge U.S. base there. The UAE has dealings with China. They do have a pretty active foreign policy. I guess what I would say is, you know, since the discovery of petroleum below the sands of a lot of the Middle East, there are people in the Middle East that have been very fortunate, but the problem with that area economically, we'll exclude all the regional tensions for a while, you know, the Iranians are still there. The problem with that area economically is they don't have a specialized economy. They are wholly dependent on that wealth, and they haven't developed a diversified economy. Then eventually the world will shift off of that, and there will be problems there. You know.
But I think a lot of people thought they were scumbags that were doing things that were like illegal. Yeah, they were just douchebags. But they're just like big douches. But then now we all think like, no, they're actually like legitimate. Like they're bad people, like they're pedophiles and they're bad people.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first. I thought they were just like, you know, running girls that wanted to get on cam, which is, you know, it's like, yeah, unethical, but like it's a thing that people do, whatever. But it's different when you start like having to see what they're saying and doing.
Andrew Tate's game of manipulation is coming to an end because it's like, it was fun for a while to watch it play out, and now it's not fun anymore. And once it stops being fun, the internet is done with it.
So the internet's like, okay, yeah, time for you to go to prison. We need a new thing. We need a new piece of energy, and you're not it.
Hey, will all these people who are so infatuated with them reflect and figure out how they got bamboozled so easily?
Probably not. No, there's no. Simps are, listen, man, simps are there to be milked.
Yeah, but God forbid you question, the next quote-unquote role model.
Honestly, the other thing is, I know this kid that's like 21. He used to be his amputee, and then he started talking about like, oh yeah, no, he's a pedophile, done all this and this. That they dig into the information. There's a bunch of streamers that talk about it as well.
Yep.
You gotta help yourself and figure out how you were duped, so it doesn't happen again.
Well, I used to like Tate, but I didn't like follow him or like pay for any of the stuff. I just liked what he was saying when I first started hearing about
Well, right.
saying.
Well, it's like all the anti-censorship stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that part is easy. Anyone can pander to anyone's, worldview.
Right.
If like it.
He was pandering to people who are conservatives, and it was effective because he was. You know why it was effective? Here's why, Brittany. I figured it out. It's because he was willing to say things that conservatives were thinking, but didn't want to bear the social cost of saying.
Okay. I'm not a conservative. I'm just a misogynist.
Yes. In Jay-Z's case. That's true. But yeah, like conservatives just didn't want to say this stuff. And it's not, what's funny? It's like if you ask me what things he was saying, it's nothing I can even remember that stands out, Because he was just like there at the right time saying the right thing, like a lot.
I just remember all of his comments about, and I mean, I didn't pay much attention to him at all until he got like the whole Romanian thing. And I just like went back and looked at some of his stuff, and I just remembered all being about like fucking man.
There is a lot of that too. Like, I think his big message was like, don't be a weak pussy bitch. But then the crazy thing is like, that's who he makes money off of. Men that are weak pussy bitches.
Yeah, when he like markets it, does he literally say like, come if you're accepted to my university?
I watched this thing. There was a Vice reporter that did a documentary on him. You should watch it. It's interesting. And he has this thing called the War Room, and or the War Count, some shit like that. It's like some stupid shit. And he takes all these guys who've flown into Romania from all over the fucking place, and they are, they're whatever. They're all just normal type dudes. They're fucking accountants and losers and whatever, who all have this like delusion of grandeur of, becoming rich and successful and having hot women sleep with them. Like that's why they all come, and they think that Tate can be their guru to teach them how to be one of these kind of men, etc. And Tate doesn't give a fuck about any of these guys. He views them all as simps to be milked. Pocket and to glorify himself. And he goes, tonight you're going to fight a trained MMA fighter. These are normal dudes. They're like accountant type dudes, right? And he's like, well, it's gonna happen in the next 30 minutes, okay? Now you can back out, but if you do back out, you need to like write a letter to the group telling us why you're a weak pussy, And then like a few guys who are smart back out, and then write the letter where they tell them, say they're weak pussies, so they get psychologically abused. So they all back out, go into the ring, and they all get mauled by a UFC fighter. He gets completely abused at the hands of Tate. Tate has abused see the whole playbook he's running.
And
yeah, he's going in and out of the matrix.
In that shit.
Yeah, we lost him for the end half of that.
But just to wrap up, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
The basic point is that he's psychologically, financially, and physically abusing everyone he comes into contact with. That's what Andrew Tate does.
Okay. And that makes him an alpha male, right?
He's just a fucking psychopath. He's a Machiavellian, dark triad trait psychopath. And he had some alpha male credentials because he was a kickboxer who had some success. He likes to say he was a world champion, but which is more alpha than most, but does not make an alpha. Being an alpha, by the way, is not something you can proclaim you are. It's it's a label that other people bestow on you. Because when somebody's the fucking man, they're the fucking man. Yeah. Nobody has to tell. Tom Brady doesn't have to say, I'm an alpha male. He's Tom Brady. He shows up to anywhere, and the whole room is about him and his presence. That's what it is to be an alpha male. You're Jocko Willing, because he's the Navy SEAL guy, and this guy's on podcasts and shit. No. Oh, you never seen a picture?
Yeah, I know Jocko.
This guy, Freddie, you gotta look up a picture of this guy. This guy has a square head. He looks like a Lego, And he's a former Navy SEAL who talks like this, right? And he has never... I don't think he has ever referred to himself as an alpha male, But he is the quintessential alpha male. You just look at this guy, you're like, yes, this is what it looks like when your testosterone level is naturally 2,000.
He's the guy that wrote Relentless, right?
No, that's Tim Grover who wrote that book.
Oh, okay.
But his podcast is, I forget what it's called. But he's just super alpha. He's like the type of dude who went to war and didn't get PTSD. He got nostalgia.
Oh, I think it was that dichotomy.
It's like, man, when I was killing all those people, that doesn't what that was.
I will say that's kind of made unique going forward.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Listen, we like alpha males. Alpha males are good. It's not like it's bad to be an alpha male. It's bad to be a fake alpha male. That is negative.
A predatory alpha male. You wrote the dichotomy of leadership. That was confusing.
Hey, you know what? You can tell an alpha male based on how he treats women. Andrew Tate failed that, but people just fucking looked over him. Yeah, I'd say most of the guys I would consider actual alpha males, it's more of a thing where people just gravitate to them in real life. It's a natural charisma they have. It's their presence. It's their physical stature. It's a lot of things, but people just gravitate towards them.
Well, somebody in the chat said that Andrew Tate has broken no laws, however, bucking politics.
No, but he actually did fuck a 15-year-old girl, so that is pretty cool. That's an example of someone who's going to refuse to admit that they were duped.
sucker.
They kicked me.
To me, American slavery is the biggest stain on this country. I don't care what anybody says. Like, you could just look how it's continued to permeate through history, through generations. Like, this thing is consistent, and all it did was reform itself over a period of time, and a direct cause to hurt and hinder the black community.
So let me cut in here. So I don't disagree with all that. American slavery was terrible, and the treatment of African Americans after American slavery was also terrible. I mean, the Reconstruction and the crushing of African American political power in the South, terrible. Jim Crow laws, terrible. And then redlining, also terrible, and that has had a direct effect on material. And that has
which continues to, like, it has never stopped. Persecution of blacks in this country has never stopped.
The incarceration policy of the U.S. disproportionately affects poor people, which disproportionately have a higher representation of the African American community because of all the harm I just mentioned. My only point is, politically and practically, and for the benefit of the vast majority, it would be far better to think of this on basis of class versus race. The reality is African Americans make up, I want to say, 13 or 14% of the population. That's not going to be a voting bloc to have any sort of large democratic change.
Hold on. Hold on. Why did it come down to a vote in an election when it should just be the right thing to do?
Y'all don't have a big enough population. Y'all can't make enough noise in the voting box, so therefore the country don't have to pay its debt. That's fucking that's
Country gotta pay its debts.
Well, the reality of it is, like I said, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. That's why I like it real cut and dry. Let's just deal with the 40 acres. You know, and I know people want to kind of muddy the water and mix it up and spin it. Japanese this, Japanese that, this, that, and third. But right now I'm on my way to Missouri, and there's a lot of acres. I'm in the plain states right now. You know what I mean? Let's just deal with the 40 acres and what has been agreed to. And the rest of it,
Jamal, let me ask you this, man. You think you're asking for the land, and I agree. You're land. Hold on. Let me finish. You got states like New York, and California, maybe Massachusetts. They'd be like, fine, we'll give you the 40 acres. But then again, you got states like Mississippi and Alabama. They're not giving up shit. The federal government's not going to be able to tell the state government how to get their land away.
The federal government can give you a land voucher.
There's a lot of federal land.
Okay, that's right. And what they can do is just simple. A land voucher. That means I take my federal voucher and I purchase land from somebody who's selling it. I might not buy all 40 acres with the same person. I might buy 40 acres for you. I might buy
Delusional liars. The debt every American has is $400,000. You owe it to the Federal Reserve, Japan, China. ADOS going to pay themselves by using white and Asian Latino citizen taxpayer money. Delusional.
Like as far as the ruling of it, if you have a white American last name like mine, then you don't have to do it. Any Jones, any Jackson, any Brown, any Thomas, any Ariston, any Gregory, any Hunter. I mean, it's not hard to figure out who's who. The name is with you.
Oh, shit.
Any Thomas. I mean, that's not that. I mean, that's not. You don't got to scratch your head on that.
Well, I think just a quick note. My family has a group called the Black Harrisons and the White Harrisons.
The Harrisons, I know Harrisons in Virginia, in Danville, Virginia. You guys got a people in Martinsville, Virginia. I'm talking about a huge swath of Harrisons that own all types of stuff out north of North Carolina. You understand what I'm talking about? I know a lot of Harrisons. I don't know where you're from, but I know a lot of your people. You understand what I'm saying?
My family is from my father's side, and
right. They own the big slave plantation in Martinsville. A huge. I'm talking about a huge slave plantation in Martinsville, Virginia. The Harrisons were there. I know they were there because I met hundreds of them.
Happy that he got nabbed because he wouldn't. And his beef is he did nothing to help Shatner to prevent, scammers or people using his name or whatever on Telegram. So you have these, and now there's a shitstorm in the SRT, essentially. Like, people immediately went to Zionism and all this other stuff, So, I don't know, it's strange. Like, the polarization is brutal. But it's, I don't know what to make of it yet. If they do intend to go after him, the fact that he's a French citizen now hurts him significantly. Because, nobody else is gonna, dibs on him. I don't even know how he became a French citizen. He doesn't appear to be married. I guess they might have some kind of an investment program that's not known or whatever. They just bought it. Probably just bought it. Grace, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on Mr. Durov and the Telegram and this insane story. So he appears to be a French citizen now. He's got a passport. He was in the same country where two flies from there, lands in France. He knew already that he had investigations or whatever. He lands there anyway. And now they have him for this or whatever. What do you think about it so far?
I'm seeing one of these run clubs in real life for the first time. This looks like a really lame way to date. Are you making a pumpkin spice latte run? Is that why you're seeing them outside? Well, I am getting my wife a coffee. Yeah, that's good. But I'm just seeing them because they're just running, and you can tell it's a run club thing because like everyone's in there like from early 20s to like late 30s, and they all look single and awkward. It's like there's got to be a better. I don't know if you guys know about this phenomenon, but this is like a new thing that's going on where like run clubs are the new place to like meet people and stuff. And yeah, I'm witnessing it right now, just staring at it. You should slowly drive by them, open the windows, and unleash some encouragement, tips, and wisdom on them, how these boys can date those girls. Because even though they're running there, they're still afraid to ask them out. You know it.
RFK's new slogan is MAHA. Make America healthy again. MAHA.
I might be okay with him doing that one single thing. Everything else is fucking batshit crazy on, insane. And his son is not though. His son went to the Foreign Legion in Ukraine. He's a drone operator and a machine gunner. RFK did not like that. I feel like we're at that part of the Bitcoin cycle. I mean, we've been there for a while, but like, it's just really dragging on now where it's just so boring, you know? And it's not gonna not be boring until we break above 100K. Then it'll be exciting again.
I'm in agreement. The ETFs came in and gave us all this like opium, and it really just kind of like boxed us in at our all-time high previously.
Cottle, you're obviously thirsty for some good champagne, and you long for that action. You gotta.
Correct. That's true. I have my nice bottle still in storage. You know, can't get that out until later.
Yeah.
Not even close to drinking that one. Like, bro, I always feel this way at this time of the cycle, the 4-year cycle, which exists, by the way. Anybody wants to tell you it doesn't exist is wrong. But during this part of the 4-year cycle, I'm just so bored. And it's like we're at all-time highs, you know, from past all-time highs. It just feels boring.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Beyond World is One. I'm Joseph Kamal. Let's start with the headlines first. German police arrest a man suspected of killing 3 people in a knife attack in Zollingen. 1 other man arrested, 15-year-old detained. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the attack. Billionaire founder and CEO of Telegram messaging app Pavel Durov arrested outside Paris. Police say they are probing lack of moderators on Telegram, allowing undeterred criminal activity. Heavy security in place as nearly 3 million Shiite Muslims marched to Iraq's Karbala in the Arabain pilgrimage, marking the death of the Prophet's grandson. It's the world's largest annual public gathering.
Founder of the Telegram messaging app Pavel Durov has been arrested at a French airport. Reports say authorities have been investigating a lack of moderators on the app, which they say allows criminal activity to take place. Our correspondent Will Vernon explains what we know about the arrest.
Yeah, this is coming from a number of French media who quote sources in French law enforcement who say that Pavel Durov was arrested on Saturday evening last night at an airport near Paris. He apparently arrived on his private jet from Azerbaijan, and they're saying that he was arrested on the basis of an arrest warrant that was issued in connection with Telegram's failure to moderate illegal content and cooperate with law enforcement over drug trafficking, child sexual content and fraud. This is just coming from French media. We should stress, of course, Telegram would almost certainly deny all of those allegations, but we'll have to see now whether he could appear in court today. French media are saying he could be indicted today, and of course what the reaction will be. You mentioned that
person in America, and so has come out more in public, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He was quite vocal when he was still in Russia. You mentioned that in 2014 he fell out with the authorities. According to him, the Kremlin tried to basically take control of the company. They tried to force VK, which is the company that he created, Russia's version of Facebook, to hand over personal data from of pro-Ukrainian protesters, anti-Kremlin protesters. According to Durov, the company refused to do that, and he was basically forced to sell it to a company that had close links to the Kremlin. VK is now almost totally under the control of the Russian security services.
That is our correspondent, Will Van. Just a line that we're getting in from the AFP news agency, which is the French news agency. They are saying that Russia says France are refusing to cooperate after the arrest of that Telegram owner. So that Russia saying France refusing to cooperate over the arrest. Now,
It says something very bad about the West when you defect from Russia to the West, and then you're, also thrown in prison for not placating the regime. It's almost like there's no difference between Russia and the West.
We get too much attention from the FBI, the security agencies, wherever we came to the US. So to give you an example, last time I was in the US, I brought an engineer that is working for Telegram, and there was an attempt to secretly hire my engineer behind my back by cybersecurity officers or agents, whatever they are called.
The US government should hire your engineer?
That's my understanding. That's what he told me.
To write code for them or to break into Telegram?
They were curious to learn which open source libraries are integrated to the Telegram's app, on the client side, and they were trying to persuade him to use certain open source tools that he would then integrate into the Telegram's code that, in my understanding, would serve as backdoors.
Would allow the US government to spy on people who use Telegram?
The US government, or maybe any other government, because a backdoor is a backdoor regardless of who is using it.
That's right. And that's a little surprising to hear. Maybe it's not surprising, it's offensive. You're confident that happened?
Yes. There is no reason for my engineer to make up the stories. Also because I personally experienced similar pressure in the US. Whenever I would go to the US, I would have two FBI agents greeting me at the airport, asking questions. One time I was having my breakfast at 9 a.m. and the FBI showed up at my house that I was renting, and that was quite surprising. And I thought, we're getting too much attention here. It's probably not the best environment to run.
Why would had you committed a crime?
No, they were interested to learn more about Telegram. They knew I, left Russia. They knew what we were doing, but they wanted details. And my understanding is that they wanted to establish a relationship to, in a way, control Telegram better. I understand they were doing their job. It's just that for us running a privacy-focused social media platform, that probably wasn't the best environment to be in. We want to be focused on what we do, not on government relations of that sort.
If you do anything substantial in the world, the FBI is going to have to talk with you. Unless you're in China or Russia. But if you're anywhere other than China, Russia, or North Korea, and you do something important, the FBI is going to want to be your friend. Or your enemy, or both. There's a really reason rich people give into it too is because rich people need protection, and that's the thing that the FBI is offering. They're not offering money usually, because the people they're going after already have money, but they're offering protection from threats, right? And as an American citizen, you get this protection as a default, more or less, but you get more of it the more you play ball. So it's really like, it's kind of a large, complicated protection racket when you think about it. And all you have to do is use some different open source libraries. That's all they're asking of you. You know? And you get to be protected, rich, you can do whatever you want, you can go anywhere you want, fuck whoever you want. Pretty good deal. Most people take it. It's very rare when somebody doesn't take it.
Facebook and Instagram. New Mexico's Attorney General is accusing the social media giant and its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, of enabling child sex abuse and trafficking on its sites. CBS News senior business and technology correspondent Joe Kent reports on the undercover investigation that used AI.
It was shocking, quite frankly, to see the explosion of sexual interest in these kids almost immediately.
New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres says his investigation into Meta found that Facebook and Instagram's algorithms created a marketplace for the sexual exploitation of children. The civil lawsuit alleges Meta enabled adults to find, message, and groom minors, soliciting them to sell pictures or participate in pornographic videos. Law enforcement set up an undercover operation using test accounts like this one, showing AI-generated photos of a fictional 13-year-old girl from Albuquerque. The complaint says followers flooded the account with unsolicited messages, filled with pictures and videos of genitalia, which she received at least 3 to 4 times per week.
You know, pedophiles don't have manners. I mean, when they introduce yourself, you're just gonna leave with a dick.
One more thought. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. So says Warren Buffett. Unfortunately, too many of us appear to forget both of Buffett's rules too often. Just this week, Ford lost $1.9 billion on its all-electric 3-row SUV when it concluded there wasn't enough consumer interest to make it work. I talked to Ford CEO Jim Farley, and he said the new mantra is that any new electric vehicle must be profitable within its first year on the market. If they can't do that, it won't be approved. That's why they canceled this electric 3-row SUV. Others are losing money for less auspicious reasons. Former Representative George Santos lost $374,000 this week when he agreed to pay restitution after pleading guilty to charges of wire fraud and identity theft. And if that weren't enough, he'll likely have to do some jail time as well.
It's clear to me now that I allowed
cloud my judgment. We didn't need to make decisions that were unethical. And pleading guilty is a step I never imagined I'd take. But it is a necessary one because it is the right thing to do.
Carl Icahn is losing $2 million in fines he owes to the SEC for not disclosing enough about margin loans. But all that's a drop in the bucket of the $19 billion in net worth he's lost in the last 15 months.
Both ICON and IEP have agreed to pay $1.5 million and $500,000 in civil penalties to settle these charges without admitting or denying the findings. Very interestingly, these go through December of 2018 to the present, and this was 51 to 82% of IEP's outstanding securities as collateral pledged to secure margin loans worth billions.
Many of us find ways to lose money that don't involve getting crosswise of the law. Buying lottery tickets, for example. State lotteries took in over $100 billion last year, which is good for the states, but not necessarily for those buying the tickets. Over a third of that money stayed with the states, which means the rest of us lost about $37 billion on the deal. Betting on sporting events has yet to catch up with the state lotteries, but it's moving up fast, with the American Gaming Association saying about $37 billion was wagered in the first quarter of this year alone, with over $3 billion of that going to those taking the bets.
For the leagues, this is a revenue stream at a key time for them because we're seeing that media rights. There's a lot of tumult, a lot of disruption, especially at the team level. So I think bringing in the gambling money to supplement that has been something that they've really leaned on.
Recently, sports has given us another way to separate us from our money. It's the purchase of name, image, and likeness of our favorite college football star. And as if betting on sports weren't enough, the football program at Oklahoma State University has found a way to make it easier for us to spend our money on those NILs. They now put QR codes on their players' helmets, so you can use your smartphone when you're watching on TV and purchase the NIL for your favorite player without having to go find it. Of course, it's not only about losing money. There's always the enjoyment you get from just being in the game, even if most of the money ends up going to the house. I'm no gambler, but I did have one great evening in Las Vegas when I spent a couple of hours at the craps table and actually ended up a little bit ahead of the game. But then again, I had the smartest, funniest, and best tutor there ever was, Nora Ephron, who taught me how to calculate the odds of the dice coming up on any particular number, and then how to use the odds to place my pass versus don't pass and come versus don't come bets, which actually worked, at least when she was with me.
again, when I don't know if any of you saw her acceptance speech. I did. I thought it was a wonderful speech, but there was a lot of talk and not a lot of substance. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Kamala Harris is a fantastic politician. Never lost an election, but this is Tulsi Gabbard going after Kamala Harris's record as a prosecutor. Check it out.
Is a racist. What's your response?
I want to bring the conversation back to the broken criminal justice system that is disproportionately negatively impacting black and brown people all across this country today. Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts criminals in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Senator Harris, your response.
As the elected Attorney General of California, I did the work of significantly reforming the criminal justice system of a state of 40 million people, which became a national model for the work that we have done. And I am proud of that work. And I am proud of making a decision to not just give fancy speeches or be in a legislative body and give speeches on the floor, but actually doing the work of being in the position to use the power that I had to reform a system that is badly in need of reform. That is why we created initiatives that were about re-entering former offenders and getting them counseling. It is why, and because I know that criminal justice system is so broken, that I am an advocate for what we need to do to not only decriminalize, but legalize marijuana in the United States.
I want to bring Congresswoman Gabbard back in. Your response.
The bottom line is, Senator Harris, when you were in a position to make a difference and an impact in these people's lives, you did not, and worse yet, in the case of those who were on death row, innocent people, you actually blocked evidence from being revealed that would have freed them until you were forced to do so. There is no excuse for that, and the people who suffered under your reign as prosecutor, you owe them an apology.
Senator Harris.
My entire career, I have been personally opposed to the death penalty, and that has never changed. And I dare anybody who is in a position to make that decision, to face the people I have faced, to say, I will not seek the death penalty. That is my background. That is my work. I am proud of it. I think you can judge people by when they are under fire, and it's not about some fancy opinion on a stage, but when they're in the position to actually make a decision, what do they do? When I was in the position of having to decide whether or not to seek a death penalty on cases I prosecuted, I made a very difficult decision that was not popular to not seek the death penalty. History shows that, and I am proud of those decisions.
And if you will notice, she did not deny that she blocked evidence until ordered by a court to free an innocent man. She did not deny putting 1,500 people in jail for smoking marijuana. So,
Steve,
yes, sir.
Yeah, I think Emily was first to the draw on this, but this is really some gross misrepresentations in what Tulsi said. Yeah, and in the
if I may, I'm sorry for interrupting, but how come she didn't say no? That's not true.
Well, sometimes the problem is that when you're faced with things like this, a flat denial is actually the worst kind of thing you can do. This is, it's the kind of, when did you stop beating your wife, whatever. Like, I never beating my wife was like, really? Now you're gonna, that's the kind of thing that happens. But I mean, the point is that, and I put so Emily, I think, put her finger on it. I put an article that's clear about the record. I mean, first of all, you just have to start with the fact that Harris was the district attorney, charged with, not district attorney, she was the attorney general, right, charged with overseeing the prosecution of the laws of the state of California. So at some point, one has to prosecute those laws or one's not doing one's job. But she didn't do the prosecutions. It wasn't her. Now, could she have done something? I don't know. Anyway, I don't really want to go further. I just want to say, if anybody really is interested in the truth, I would take what Tulsi said, and I would read the article that I just linked to, and I think you'll get a pretty good sense of what where the truth lies.
All right, and I strongly suspect that some people want to comment on this. We're overdue for the break, so Alfonso and others, please take notes on a scratch piece of paper. We can come back. We'll be here for another couple of hours, and we can talk about this or anything you want. Rohan is new on stage, so we'll get to everybody. If you're in the audience and you want to talk about anything at all, just raise your hand, especially if you're a new speaker. So, well, 1 hour in the tank. Welcome to another edition of Ask the Atheist. We'll be back after our mandatory break, and what can I say, everybody, but welcome to the show. Don't go away. We'll be right back.